Hey, it's Holden. It's Kegger. It's Mangone. It's picking winners because that's all we do. We talk about DFS and we talk about the bet side. And we have a great time. And I want to say before we do anything at all, sign up for the premium content already. You get the cores, you get the playbook, you get everything you need. We got optimizers here at Run Pure Sports. It's amazing. So do that. RPS Eater 25. I think it's the code because Uncle T told me it was the code. And I think that Big T was hanging out at his house last night and he didn't want to come on the Wishbone pod. So he was just throwing random codes out there. RPS Eater 25 should work for you. Okay. Big wins. And we'll get into those in just a second from our members, not us. Kegger, my friend, we're going to do 6 games today. I'm going to list them off. We're going to talk about them from a bet side and a DFS side. We're going to do the Chargers, Cowboys, Vikings, Cardinals, Rams, Colts, Houston, Cleveland. I think that was my problem with that one. I'm sorry. I just wanted to look at the Cleveland offense. San Francisco, Philly, Tennessee, Seattle. My friend, week 1, we had a great run on the live shows. Plug the bet side because, dude, I got off to like a 10-0 start on the live shows, and I even picked a winner. So we're doing great over there.
You did it. Yeah. We hit our first 10 plays on the live show. Aside from like the quarter unit first touchdown props, but we did finally get the first touchdown prop home the other night at 11-1. It was, I forget who it was. Was it Williams?
Yeah, who cares? We got it.
Yeah, but anyway, last week was a good show. Mangone gave out the lamb prop, got that home.
Yeah.
Got the Dallas team total home. Let me just say, I mean, the haircut from Mangone and the salmon shirt, I'm totally here for it, by the way.
I think he's trying to get laid.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. What's up? How much did you pay for that haircut, Mangone?
I actually paid a nice little amount. I think like $45. It's my friend's girlfriend did the cut for me. She wanted to give her a little extra too. So yeah, she's does a great job and got the haircut going, got the salmon shirt just for you, Jay. And you mentioned winners. So I went back last week while the show was going on. And if there's something I missed, if there's a loss I missed or a win I missed, let me know. But these are kind of the bets I wrote down at the end of the show that I felt like we kind of gave some strong takes on or leans. And my notes say that we went 6-2. It says Browns +6. That was a win. We did say the money line. I don't know if we include that one in there. If you want to include it, sure, we'll take the loss for it. But you would sprinkle that anyways if you did. Chubb is 71.5 rushing over. That one hit. So there we go. Kyler Murray, 42.5 rushing prop or the touchdown. That didn't hit, but that's okay. No worries. Then also have on my sheet to make fun of, I forget who it was in the chat, but he was saying, oh, Moore's going to score a touchdown. He did not score a touchdown. The rookie sucked, like I basically said. So that's another thing I put in my little notes here. We talked about the 47 over on that Vikings game. That one hit. CeeDee Lamb, the one we just talked about, that hit. I also mentioned Antonio Brown, 14-1, first-time touchdown, and 2-1 anytime touchdown. The anytime hit, the 14-1 didn't hit, but we would sprinkle that, right? We're not putting 50-unit bangers on 14-1s over here at Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. And then Jay's Cowboys team total 21, the over hit. So good little day over here if you listen to the show, entailed most of the stuff that we talked about.
And no doubt about it. We smashed in this show.
Chubb over 13.5 rushing attempts. That one too.
There you go.
So that one hit. I had Dallas first half -6.
Yep.
What are you smiling about, Mangone?
Big T in the chat. He goes, holy Mangone lettuce cut. So yeah, Big T's laughing about that.
I threw it out on Twitter. How much would you pay for this haircut? And so far we've got $5. You paid $45. So it might be a slight overpayment. I personally like the haircut. I think it's wonderful. It's a little part. It's good stuff.
You get the hair wash too. That feels good. They cut it up nice and good. It's good.
I go to my lady just for a wash. She charges me $15 for 15 minutes. I just have her massage my head. It's so amazing.
I would pay $15 for 15 minutes as well, Holden.
Yeah. Well, one time I got excited, so I had to change ladies because she got really uncomfortable. But it was just a natural, physical thing. It wasn't like I didn't expect it to happen. She just, whatever. I'm lying. So let's get into these 6 games. But before we do, I've got more bullshit to tell you about. We have winners because winners and members never win. Members never win. It's our shtick here because the big guys like Hoop and Big T, all these guys are always crushing, winning $100,000. And then you get guys, well, your members never win. Our members win all the time, all the freaking time. Just like our Tournament of Champions winner, The Real Squash. If you're a member at Run Pure Sports or Run Pure Bets, you can get into that. The Real Squash won our Tournament of Champions, at least week number 1. Shawnee Cash DFS, 15K in the NFL. Chase Addy NC, 25K. Absolutely amazing. Every sport covered. We got core plays in the playbook. It's just amazing. And then the last thing Simon wants me to tell you about, not only do you need to like this video, there's a red button down there somewhere, and hit it. Just hit the red button, because that means you'll be subscribed to our channel and you will be so amazing. You will not even realize it. Okay. Chargers, Dallas. Made a bet on this when the line came out. Got Chargers -3 here, Keg. I don't know what you think of that bet, but boy, Justin Herbert, anybody thinking this guy's going to have a year 2 letdown, what he did to just kill the clock against the Washington football team was absolutely magnificent. So you got Dallas +3, you got the Chargers -3. And the total in this game, I feel like, should be in the 50s. I get it that the Chargers defense is spectacular. I love it. I think they're going to be a top 5 defense this year, but Cowboys offense pretty good. And guess what? It is 50. It's been steamed up from 52 to 55.5. So there you go. I thought we saw it in the 40s. What do you got on this one, Kegger?
Is Keg muted? He's talking to himself right now.
Yeah. Unmute yourself, Kegger.
Let's start there.
Yeah, we can't hear him.
Now that's a rookie mistake, right?
Yeah, that was rookie.
Like when you live your last 4 years live in front of a camera, I mean, that's just a rookie move.
Unacceptable.
Right, yeah, so the Cowboys did what we thought they would do. Mangone said we gave out the team total, got that home. The offense looked great against a supposed top 5 defense, right? Dak threw for close to 400. Their third down conversion rate was phenomenal. They averaged about 6 yards per play, which is above the league average. So all in all, the offense was terrific. The issue was the defense. Deja vu all over again. That's all we talk about with this team. So we thought the defense would need work this year. We didn't think they did enough work going into the year, and they looked like they didn't do enough work. So I do think that the defense is going to look bad, whether or not they're playing, a top 3 offense like Tampa Bay or a bottom 10 offense. I just think that the Dallas defense is going to be a liability for the team all year. But Dak looked like Dak. As for the Chargers, I thought it was tough to gauge their performance because Fitzmagic goes down early, and the rest of the game, the Chargers defense, they held Heineke down. I don't know what that means, right? So while the Chargers defense came out the other side, I think they ended up having the 7th best defensive performance analytically in week 1. I'm not sure how to accurately grade that when you're playing against a kid like Heineke. I don't know how good he is. I also thought that the Chargers offense looked solid, even though the score might have not reflected that. They went up against what's supposed to be a very tough defense. And I think the Chargers converted their last 5 third down conversions to put that game away and drain the clock, which killed me because I had the Washington team total over. So that just ruined me. I thought Herbert looked good, threw for about 330. You would have liked to seen that offense have a better yards per play average. But, again, they played a tough defense, and Herbert appeared to do his thing. I think I lean taking the 3 with Dallas here, even though they're on the road. I haven't seen a team total yet, but I would think that both team totals are probably in play. I think that there's going to be a lot of points scored, and you can't sell me on the fact that Dallas isn't going to be able to move that ball against that Chargers defense.
They will.
After what we just saw Dallas do to Tampa Bay's defense, which is supposed to be world class. So I like both team total overs in this game. and I'll lean going with the 3. As far as the full game total, I agree with you. Probably a little low, but am I running out to the window to bet a 55? Not really.
No.
No.
So here's the other thing. Chargers team total 29.5, Keg. How often have you bet an over 29.5? Cowboys team total over 26.5.
Yeah, I like that.
The Cowboys.
Yeah.
I could not disagree with you more about the Chargers winning this game, though. They're not going to be able to stop this Chargers offense. And I get it. Dak Prescott can move the ball too, but defensively, the Cowboys are such a train wreck. Even Mike Williams came out. He's like, oh, last week, those guys looked like they're having a lot of fun. They were. And we'll get to Mangone on the DFS side. Maybe I'll be a chalk donkey this week, but boy, Kegger, I mean, you scared me a little bit back in the Cowboys here because I'm all in on the Chargers.
Let me ask you a question. You thought that the Chargers offense looked better in week 1 than Dak and Dallas?
No. I'm not saying that.
Just think defense is going to be able to move the ball easier against Dallas than the reverse.
A Dallas defense a joke. Is a joke.
Yeah,
and I think that Allen, Williams, Eckler, all their skill guys should have a nice day.
I might take the team total over on Dallas every week. So give me that.
26.5?
Yeah.
It's not a bad number. All right, Mangone, let's get into the DFS side. Am I a chalk donkey if I just hit this game? Is this going to be the popular game because it's the Cowboys? It's the game that just popped out to me first.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Holden. If you are a chalk donkey for playing this game, right, it's a late game, so you can make some pivots, which there's all the good DFS games are at 4:00 this week. Yep. So that is something worth mentioning. There are going to be some interesting pivot options. And if you stack the 1:00 games, good luck. I don't think you're going to win in DFS this week because, again, all the high totals are at 4:00. So it should be a fun time. I'm with you guys in agreeing on the Chargers being the better team here. I just think this Dallas defense is not very good. And our very own Big T, I got to pull up the tweet because he's out there on twitter.com. And you know what he said? Big T said, if you like #free giblets, right? Fire the Chargers this week. So
he's on Team Kushner, not Team Kegger right now.
He's aligned on the Chargers, and I'm sort of with Big T on that. I do think the Cowboys are going to be – that offense is going to be better than people realize because they're going to be trailing a lot and they're going to be passing a ton. But I do think this Chargers team is going to do whatever they want. Let's have the overreactions to start things off. Well, Austin Eckler had 6 or 7 goal line carries, so that means he is now a bell cow and he's going to crush it. But I will say, I do think this system is designed a little bit differently, and I do think you are going to see Eckler used more at the goal line, and I kind of like betting him to score a touchdown in this spot. Like, I love betting these running backs when they're in spots against the defense where you can do whatever you want. And when coaches get close to the goal line, what do? They do everything they can just to pound that rock. And I think they're easily going to be able to get like 1 or 2 yards or 3 yards on this team and score at will. I like Eckler to score a touchdown. I think that's a really good bet that we can make here and feel confident in him this week. Let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys side, right? Because they're dealing with some injuries, and we need to talk about the injuries that they're dealing with because that's going to be impactful. Because if, and I believe this is not an if, I think it's when the Cowboys are trailing, what are you going to see happen? Well, you're going to see Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb get some condensed targets there with Gallup being out. Cedric Wilson is there at 3.1K, which in tournaments you can certainly take a shot on. So I like targeting these Cowboys receivers. I think they're really good options. And I also like Keenan Allen. We talked about last week. We talked about liking, some of these Buccaneers players. I thought Antonio Brown was a great play because I think he's a great option that can fit into those soft zones and kind of take advantage of it. You know who's a guy that runs really good routes and I think can sit in zones and take advantage of them? Keenan Allen. I think this is a really just awesome spot for him to absolutely dominate. So I'm in on him. I'm in on Justin Herbert. I'm in on Eckler. It's a great DFS game. The question isn't if I'm going to roster those guys. It's like if I'm going to roster them versus these other guys because it's a loaded slate. There's a lot of really good opportunities here, and this is definitely one of the better game stacks on the slate. It's got a 55 total. You can't ignore it.
No, you can't, and there's no Gallup. So you brought up Cedric Wilson. Amari Cooper or CeeDee Lamb, which one would you take this week? I mean, you could take them all, but if it came down to one, Lamb or Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, there's that GIF, right? Like, why not both? Like, I mean, the stack of Dak and Lamb and Cooper ran back with Keenan Allen. That looks really tasty. So I'm definitely interested in that. If I have to pick one, I feel like my lean the majority of the time, and it's like kind of a lame rule, but it feels like it just always hits that way. It's like, I don't know, whenever Amari is at home, he absolutely smashes. And then when he's not, again, he had a good week last week on the road, but I feel like when it's home, I'll lean Amari. And when it's not, I'll just leave CeeDee Lamb. And I'll probably lean CeeDee Lamb right now. I mean, I loved his usage last week. Cooper's usage was great too. We're really just picking between two great options, and salary too is going to matter, right? CeeDee Lamb is 6.4K over on DK. And then Amari Cooper is 6.8. So we might have to factor in ownership at that point, right? Holden, like, let's say that CeeDee Lamb is 20%, and let's say Amari Cooper is 5. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the case, but let's say that is. There's not a huge difference between the players where I'll just take the lower owned guy in tournaments. I think that's going to be really key when building out your DFS lineups. If everyone's gravitating towards one guy and the projections are really similar on them, I'll just take the lower owned guy because I think that there's not a huge difference between them. And I don't think there's going to be a big difference. I think Dak's going to feed both of them, and it's just a matter of who falls into the end zone.
All right. Can you tell me one more time why you're backing the Cowboys here? Because
I didn't say I was betting them. I said I lean them. I think right now, if I was going to make one bet in the game, it would probably be the team total over, because that Dallas Cowboys offense is rock solid. Even with their offensive linemen going down, I just don't see how this team isn't good again for 4 touchdowns a game. I mean, Dak, in the 4 games he played last year, destroyed. Last Thursday night, that offense was humming, looked phenomenal. And I don't know how good this Chargers defense is this year. Granted, last year they didn't look very good. A lot of that probably had to do with Anthony Lynn. Now there's a coaching change, things change. I understand that. But you can't sell me on the fact that Dak isn't going to have his way with that Chargers defense. I think that both these teams go up and down the field all day, and I just don't see how they're not in the high 20s right there with the Chargers.
I can't bet 55.5. I'm just not going to do it.
I agree. That's hot.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they get off to a slow start and we live bet it, but that'd be the only way. Keg, before we get to our next game, would you please let everybody know how they can get to be a part of Run Pure Bets, which, by the way, it's not just NFL. Like, we still have the rest of the regular season and the playoffs for Joey Work on baseball. I mean, the guy he's on like an 801. I've never seen anything like this in any sport, except for you, Keg, obviously. But Joey Work is just, and I can't stand Joey Work. This man makes my blood curl, but he's just too good, Keg.
I think Joey hit like 19 of the last 22 in MLB. Joey's just the true baseball nut at heart. Yep. So he's holding it down on the baseball front, absolutely killing it. I think he's up like 12 or 13 units already in the last 40 days. Me and JJ and Tyler are taking care of the NFL. We do every sport. NASCAR, we made about 5 units in NASCAR again this weekend. UFC's back this Saturday. Every sport, 60 a month, 15 a week. Bets 25 off. Use the promo code and you'll get 25% off the first week or month at runpurebets.com.
Hey, Mangone, I just want to give Mangone a shout out too, because some of us from the DFS side, once in a while, I feel like I'm a bets guy too, because I'm always hanging out with you guys. But Mangone threw some plays on the board last week and just crushed it, absolutely crushed it. So, there's a lot of us that are in there. Tyler's just he's crushing the props. So listen, it was a little tough in DFS if you had Mostert last week, but you make it up on the betting side. It was just sensational.
I will say, Holden, it was a good week. The bet side too, right? I had a couple up there. I did have the Mostert one up there. That's the one that like lost.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do, right? I mean, I feel good about the process, and that's how we have to, take it. But I'm excited to be – last year was tough to be able to put up bets because we had a lot going on. We had basketball. There was too many sports at once, but being able to dial it in a little bit, I'm excited. It should be a good NFL season. I'll be sure to be putting up more bets, no doubt.
You must have won a lot recently to afford that haircut. So that's all I'm going to say, Mangone. That's all I'm going to say about this. Let's get to our next game. Listen, I sucked on DraftKings last week. I was really good on FanDuel, and I think the reason why is because I could just jam in Mahomes and Kyler Murray. And I had one lineup with Elijah Mitchell, which was great. Unfortunately, Mostert got hurt, but I think if Mostert stayed healthy, Mitchell wouldn't have been good. So anyways, let's move on to this game here, and we'll start from a DFS side. All right, hang in there, Keg. Go read something, take a nap. We'll be there in a minute. Kyler Murray is 8-2 on DK, and he's 8-7 on FanDuel. Do you have any interest in Kirk Cousins? Because even though the game script could be there, I'm not. I can't stand rostering that guy. Does Dalvin bounce back? Is there anybody in the running game on the side of the Cardinals? And then behind Hopkins, who's our other receivers? A lot to get through in this one, Mangone.
Yeah, loaded game. We talked about it a lot. Well, I feel like I talked about it a lot on this show, but I loved that Murray Hopkins stack with like either AJ Brown or Julio last week. I thought it was an awesome stack to go with. The thing I like about it so much is Kyler and Hopkins. It's the thing I really like about some of these certain stacks is if you play, and I'm trying to think of like an offense where it's tough to peg, right? I think the Jets is a good one, right? Let's say the Jets have a big game. I wouldn't be shocked if it was Zach Wilson to either Corey Davis, Keelan Cole, Jamison Crowder, Elijah Moore, couldn't even be Braxton Berrios or Mims. Like, it's just the predictability of who is going to do well is tough. If I tell you the Cardinals have a big game, if I tell you they put up 35 fantasy points, you know who probably put up a lot of points? Probably DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler Murray and DeAndre just feel like a really nice condensed target share that I like stacking together because if it goes off, then this happens, which is something I look for. Another example, if the Vikings are leading and they go off, then Dalvin Cook has a big game. If they're trailing and they play the catch-up well, what happens? Kirk Cousins, Jefferson, Thielen. It's just a really condensed target share, which I think we have on both sides. So I think this is an easy game to stack up and play in tournaments. If you do see like last week, a great example was Dalvin Cook. He was a chalky option. Now Dalvin was fine, but Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen were great leverage pivots that you can go to. So I like how there's a lot of condensed targets and just market share on both sides. And I'm definitely going to be looking at that on this slate. I'm going to be looking at Jefferson, Thielen in tournaments. Dalvin Cook is another great cash game option. I don't need to go to a Kirk Cousins, I don't think, this week. If you are playing Jefferson and Thielen, though, running it back with Cousins is a perfect way to do it. And then Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, it's going to be another stack I look to go to. And I won't be scared to maybe play like AJ Green. I mean, he got the second most snaps on that team. If you're looking for a cheap receiver to get exposure to this game, I don't hate going to an AJ Green. You're just playing a little bit of roulette with some of these other secondary guys, like between Kirk and Green and Moore. They can certainly get there, but again, it's a little bit more of roulette. And I try to stay away from those situations when I build out my lineups. I don't want to play too many of these guys because then I'm trying to hit like a 3 or 4 leg parlay. I want to try and make sure I target the spots where I know there's going to be a lot of production, no doubt.
Okay, let's get to the line on this one because I wonder, Kegger, we've got a healthy Kyler Murray. Remember last year? He was just unstoppable, and then he got hurt. And he was the MVP last year. He had the best week in week 1. So they got a Vikings team. The total here is already up from 49.5 to 51 at most places. And -2.5 for the Cardinals is now up to -3.5. And one place has him at -4.5. Can we bet anything in this game? And I'll go look up the Cards team total for you if you're interested.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay.
The Vikings game overall was really weird. If you just watched the game and how it ended up playing out, you would have thought like, wow, how did the Bengals go and lose that game? But if you dive deep into the data and actually like the numbers of what happened, Minnesota should have won that football game. They were better almost everywhere. They were better in the trenches. Their third down conversion rate crushed. But, you can't give up 12 penalties for 130 yards in a football game and expect to win. That just doesn't go down. Turnover rate and penalties are huge in the NFL in terms of liabilities. Now, you lose that game in overtime, right? Now, Kirk Cousins, anytime you're going to get 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks from a quarterback like Cousins, you'll take that every day. and you have no excuse to lose that game. So I thought that the data said the Vikings should have won that game, even though your eyes probably said the opposite. Now, as far as the Cardinals, I thought they looked like a championship caliber team in week 1. Granted, it's only week 1. People shouldn't get carried away. But this Arizona team might have been the most impressive team overall, soup to nuts, in week 1. Murray was basically flawless on the road. He hangs, 4 touchdowns on the board, looks like a top 5 quarterback. And the defense goes out there, which was rebuilt in the offseason and looked really, really good. Less than 250 yards given up, 3.9 yards per play on the road. That's solid, man. It was an absolutely phenomenal performance from the Arizona Cardinals. I'm excited to watch the team. I thought I saw the line open at 3 on Sunday night. I could be wrong, but that's where I thought that the line initially opened at. I would have probably laid the 3 with Arizona had I not had a ton of shit going on. But at 4.5, I'm probably going to pass. I think the number probably passed the SPY right now. No real opinion on the total at 51. I think that the Vikings could do enough on their part to get over this full game total. However, if the Cardinals defense plays as good as they did last week, would it shock me to see them keep the Vikings from doing their part to get over that total? Not really. So the total's probably a pass for me also. What's the team total?
27.5 for the Cards, 23.5 for the Vikes.
Yeah, that's strong. 27.5 is strong. Is there a prop on Murray's rushing yards?
You know what, man? I have 0 player props in Colorado right now. Can you believe that? Zippy. Nobody has posted a single player prop. So, Mangone, have you seen any? I don't have any yet. They're taking their time.
I have a friend that's in Colorado that has already told me a bunch of different bets this week. So I think he's wagered on those. I don't know.
Ferguson?
No, different person.
He's either doing it illegally because none of the books. I literally have 8 books.
Well, DraftKings should have them. I'd say.
That's what I'm looking right now.
I know I have them here, so I don't know. That's weird.
I know it's weird. It sucks too because I really want to get in. What's that Eckler touchdown prop at? Like -125?
I don't know what it's at now, but I will say this: a lot of the touchdown props on the running backs felt really low last week. Like I went and looked at all of them, and not a lot of them felt like very heavily juiced. A lot of them were like the -100, -105. Like there was, I think Henry's was like -220 something. I didn't like Henry's, but I was just looking for like touchdown equity reasons on Sunday, and I was like, these are kind of low. I'm gonna look at these next week for sure because they felt lower than they should have been. So I don't know what Eckler's is going to be. I doubt it's a -200, right? Like that does seems weird for Austin Eckler. But either way, I'm going to put money on it, no doubt.
I'm thinking 125 is where it opens.
Yeah, that seems right. Or even I wouldn't even be shocked if it is like a -115, 105. It wouldn't shock me just because of how loaded that Chargers team could be. But it is the Cowboys, right? Maybe I'm not calculating that in enough.
In retrospect, we should have been on Arizona -3 on Sunday night.
Huh?
I said we should have been on Arizona -3 when these week 2 lines came out.
Yes.
On Sunday
we should
night.
have.
Yeah.
I kind of think the Titans suck. Like I kind of thought that before last week. Like I think they're that whole division is going to be a disaster. I think it's going to be like, basically all those teams fighting to, basically not get the first place spot. I think it's going to be really, really ugly between the guys fighting for that.
What though, Trav? When's the last time you saw Derrick Henry averaging 3.3 yards per rush? I mean, that defense was an abomination last year, but that offense hummed all last season.
But Jay, so they lost their offensive coordinator, and my problem with that team is they feel like the team that they had all the right pieces with the offensive coordinator and the great offensive line, and then they feel like they've gone a little backwards in the departments that matter, and they've added Julio Jones and the pieces that are the cherries on top when you build out the teams. It feels like they added those and they lost in some other departments, and there's just going to be a big decline, I think, with that team. So I thought it before last week, and I kind of I heard BigT was on the Print Factory talking with ODB, and I heard him talking about, the Titans are free to win division. I was like, man, I don't love Carson Wentz and the Colts, but I don't think it's free at all. And I don't like the Colts either that much. That's the other thing. Like they lost guys on their offensive line. That was a disaster now. So that division just going to be a mess in my opinion.
Okay. RPS Heater 25% off your first monthly payment. That's great. Hit the like button, please. Last week, from what I understand, we had about 1,500 views and listens on this show. So it's blowing up. Love doing this show. And if you like the show, like button, and then there's that little red button down there that says subscribe. Why don't you subscribe too? Why not? It's a wonderful thing. Bring us the good mojo. Last thing to plug is the Wishbone Pod. Last night, I found that I could mute Uncle T. It was very good. We didn't have to listen to him. JT Hayes was on the show also, and G Risen, who just won't shut up. So it's a fun show. Got a lot of good feedback. Even Big T for the first time gave me a nice little pat on the back. It feels so good. So there you go. Usually the guy shits on me, and I almost have to take it most of the time. Sometimes I'll shit on him too, but it was nice to get a little affirmation. Rams and Colts. Oh boy. What do we do here, Keg? I mean, a lot of us love the Rams coming into the season, and Matt Stafford went absolutely bananas. It was terrific to see. It was just gorgeous to see. Now he goes on the road though, and he's facing a Colts team that really looked a little dysfunctional against Russell Wilson. The line here opened at 1.5. Now it's Rams minus 3.5 on the road. Total is 47.5. That actually came down from 49. It opened 49. Now it's down to 47.5. And Keg, just from the Colts side, Wentz had thrown at least one interception in 6 of his last 9. Well, he didn't turn the ball over. The problem is that he really didn't make any big plays either. He's playing a little bit safe. The Colts defense had no pass rush whatsoever. I mean, how do they stop the Rams this week?
So last Thursday, our first live show, you and I waxed poetic about how we both think that the only bet to make to win the NFC is the Rams. Mm-hmm. And what happens? Exactly what we thought would happen, right? Matt Stafford's a stud, and all he needs to do is stay healthy this year. He goes 330 for 3 TDs, right? Just another Sunday for Matty S. And all the haters out there that thought that the Rams were cooked because Cam Akers is done need to settle down. This is not Jared Goff. First of all, the Rams running game is nowhere near as important as it was for the last 3 years now, because they have a quarterback that can throw the football. Granted, Jared Goff did his thing, and we'll talk about that. He looked pretty solid. But nevertheless, if Darrell Henderson can just stay healthy, that offense is humming. They're totally fine. 8 yards per play is just stupid, bro. Against what everybody thinks is supposed to be a top 10 defense this year in the Chicago Bears, right? Defensively, they look phenomenal. Now, I don't know how you grade a defense that's that good going up against the Red Rocket, who probably shouldn't even be playing football anymore. So, I mean, come on. I mean, what's he been in the league for? 15 years now? I mean,
Wentz? I'd take him over Heineke.
No, I'm talking about who they played last.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about Andy Dalton. So now the Colts, I hate. It's hard for me to be objective with the Colts because I hate Carson Wentz. I'm not. I think he blows. Okay. Now, all that said, was he horrific in week 1? Like Kush said, didn't turn the ball over for the first time in a minute, right? Didn't do much to win the game either. But I all in all, I guess that's what you call a good performance from Carson Wentz. He sucks. He's cheats. He's terrible. So it's hard for me to gauge this team because I think the offense is abysmal. Now, I think 1 through 53, I think the Colts personnel is actually probably pretty solid. Maybe they're lacking weapons, but I think the bones of the offense and the bones of the defense are actually probably makes up a solid team. If there were key skill position players that were interchanged on that team with what is currently on the roster. That said, bro, I mean, these two teams are just in two totally different leagues. It might be the squarest play of the week, but give me the Rams in a romp, big, by like 20.
Wow. So did you bet this yet?
Rams all day, every day, 17 times on Sunday. Give me the Rams. Yeah, I took a -4.
-4. So I'm going to throw 2 units on -3.5.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
I took it as soon as it opened. Why this line's going the other way?
No idea.
Is beyond me.
Yeah, here you go. I did it. 2 units, -3.5, -105. What do you think about that bet, Mangone?
What was the bet again?
Rams -3.5, -105.
Yeah, I like the Rams. I'm with you guys. Jay, one thing I will say, I definitely agree with the Rams, but let's settle down. They beat the Bears, like they beat Matt Nagy and Andy Dalton. Like,
I know.
Relax.
I was just sky high on them going into the year. It didn't even matter what happened in week 1. Like, yeah. I bet them to win the NFC West the second that they got Stafford.
I will say that West is not an easy one for sure.
Oh, you're right. Especially with the way the Cardinals looked, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Rams can get if they don't win that division, which I think they definitely are strong contenders too. They can get like that bad wild card draw, right? And like just run into like a really bad route. That's the only concern, but they look great. The Bears are a disaster. Expected the Rams to be good. I like Matthew Stafford, and I thought that he would be an upgrade over Goff. So far, so good. I think that overall, Wentz, the other thing I want to mention is he's kind of coming back from an injury. So even though I like to crap on Wentz and it's fun to make fun of Tony, I am curious to see if he gets like a little better throughout the year and see kind of what happens. So, but it's going to be a disaster this week for sure. It's not going to go well. Jay, you talked about on one of your live shows. I don't know if this is an angle we can bet. I figured I'd just bring it up because you brought it up. I was listening to the college football show when I was driving one day, and you said you can bet like next team to score a touchdown, right? Like Alabama, if they're playing some crap team, don't bet them -35, right? Bet them to just score the next touchdown. Well, can we do that here with the Rams? Like every time the Rams give up the ball to the Colts, can we bet the Rams to score the next touchdown? If you really think it's going to be a steamroll, that could be a way to roll up some units this week, Jay.
By the way, thank you, Mangone. The number one betting angle that you can bet on huge favorites that you want to back in college football and instead of laying 35 with a team like Alabama, oftentimes the majority of the times they'll go up 28-3, 31-3. They'll run out in a game. You can live bet the next team to score will be Alabama somewhere around -135, -140 every time the other team has the ball. And we've done that multiple times over the last few years where you'll hit the first 6 bets of the game live, period. So that's a great angle for when you want to back a huge favorite in college football. I don't really do that so much though, Trav, in the NFL, because a lot of the NFL is parody a lot of times. But, do I think that the Rams score? They always have that prop. Will a team score 3 consecutive times in the game? Do I think that cashes in this game? Yeah, probably. I do.
My God, Keg, just not holding back.
Keg, when you're doing the live show, when you're doing the live show, Keg, throw that thing on there, right? Throw up, when they're, let's say they give the ball to the Colts, right? And you like the field position, they have a long ways to go.
Yep.
Fire that for me and then put it on the board for me when it hits, okay?
I will do that, my friend.
That's our first show bet of the day. We're going to go Rams -3.5, -105 on DraftKings. There was a concern in the chat about going west to east, which I'm not too worried about with Matt Stafford. I don't give a shit. The Rams are going to roll. I think the Colts are garbage right now. And I'm with you on Wentz. He's playing safe, man. And you're not going to beat the Rams playing safe. It's not going to happen. They're a much better team at almost every single position. And how do the Colts, Keg, how do the Colts keep up with these guys if it's like a 17-0 lead? I just don't get it.
Because, Carson Wentz has shown you enough over the last 2 years to go and beat a defense that has 2 of the top 5 defensive players in the NFL in the starting 11. Come on, bro. Stop.
Get out of here with that. Did we even talk from the DFS side yet?
No, I can be quick though. I can be very quick on
Cup.
This. So Cooper Kupp, too cheap, right? Especially on FanDuel, 6,200. Like, what's going on over there on that site? Robert Woods, 6,500, too cheap. I would not ignore some of these tight ends. The only problem is, like, when you got Darren Waller on the slate and the amount of targets he saw, tough to pass on someone like him. But yeah, I think that the Colts, they're not the easiest to figure out here. I think you can play some of these cheaper guys if you want to run back. Michael Pittman's cheap enough where you can go to it, but I'm going to limit my exposure there on the Colts side. I don't think you need to go to this run game too much. I think Darrell Henderson's fine, but it's not necessary on this slate. There's other options I'd prefer. If I do any kind of stack of this game, it's a Stafford with a Cooper Kupp and ran back Michael Pittman. And I wouldn't even hate just going Stafford to like Kupp and just, you don't have to even run a run back, but I like other games more, not a game that I'm loading up on.
So let me just bring this up from a bet side, okay? 94% of the snaps went to Henderson. If you'll remember, he did nothing in the first half. They waited. So McVay's kind of going in reverse here. Go get a big lead, and then they gave the ball to Henderson, and he found a ton of holes. They dumped it down one time to him too. Keg, I'm actually thinking about targeting Henderson rushing yards if he's not involved in the first half and the team is up. It's just something I'm going to look at live.
Sure. I don't mind that look.
Okay. Very good. Let's read our spiel here. All right. First of all, like button. Second of all, subscribe button. That's right below the like button. Do that. That'll be interesting. That'll be wonderful to do. Then you can see all our great shows and you can catch our amazing podcast, The Wishbone, me, Uncle T, JT Hayes, G Risen. We have a good time. We bust each other's balls. And then there he is in chat. There he is. Uncle T still upset that I have the power and I can mute him. Keg on the bet side, he can put people in timeout. I put Uncle T in 2 timeouts last night, Keg.
I mean, how dare you treat Uncle T like that?
Oh, he deserved it. He's just so mean to me. He's mean. He says mean things. Look at that. Look at that in the chat even. 2 goats and Holden, He's
I love me some heckler. Uncle T. You're not going to have me bad. There's no Uncle T slander here on this show from me. I'll tell you that.
Well, of course, you kissed his ass. I mean, anybody with the last name Niehaus, you just pucker up and smooch their butts. I've never seen anything like it in the workplace.
Listen, Uncle T treats me right. I show up to town. He gets me some candy cigarettes. He gets me a couple Red Bulls. I mean, he treats me well. I can't complain.
What he got you? You're traveling all the way from Jersey to like Kentucky, and that's all he gets you is some candy cigarettes and Red Bull.
So this is what Uncle T did. Let me just put it in perspective. Yeah. Uncle T shows up. All right, he says, "I'm coming over." He said, "Do you need anything, Mango?" And I said, I'm a little tired. I need a Red Bull or 2. And you know what he does? He goes up to the counter. The lady says, "I need a couple Red Bulls." And what does she say? She says, "Well, what size you need?" He says, "Oh, the biggest you got. Only the best for Mango." And I mean, come on. How do you not love Uncle T there?
I mean, it's pretty easy. He begged us to give him something for his birthday last night, too. Like, who does that? And he didn't know who Scarlett Johansson was. Like, title, I get it. He's 12 years old. Uncle T lived through the prime of Scarlett Johansson, and he doesn't know who it is. Kegger, please tell me you know who Scarlett Johansson is.
I do know who Scarlett
Thank
Johansson.
God.
You had me scared for a second. I thought you were going to be like, oh.
I mean, she's on the top 10 list, bro. Come on.
Oh, she's definitely on the top 10 list. There is no doubt about it. Yeah. Hi, Alex. How are you doing, buddy? Uncle T, you can shove it. That's what I'll say to you. And then why are you going down to kiss the Niehaus boys' asses? What's going on, Mangone?
Holden, I'm going to be actually, sadly, I'm going to be really close to you. I'm going to be in Colorado for a little while.
When?
For a while, so I'm going to be there.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean,
when are you coming out here?
I'm driving tomorrow. I leave.
You got to be shitting me. You're driving from Jersey to Colorado?
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. It'll be.
There must be a piece of ass here. Who's here? Why are you coming out here?
I mean, listen, Holden. I don't know what pieces of asses you've touched in Colorado, but I don't want to touch the ones you've touched. So
trust me, I'll give you the list, and they're all very easy. That's the best part.
I don't want that list, Holden. I want the list so I don't have to go to them.
I want to know.
Just go to AshleyMadison.com.
I did it. It was not a success. Ashley Madison was horrible. It just nothing. It was bad. Why are you coming out here, Mangone?
Yeah, I'm just I'm moving out there for a little bit. So that's
What do you
the
mean
plan.
you're moving out here? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Do you
Hey,
believe
finding
it,
out
kid?
live
Or is
on
he
air. This is
busting
amazing.
balls?
No, this is real. I'm driving out there.
Where are you living? What part of Colorado?
I mean, do I have to give it on air? I mean, I
Yeah,
guess
something's very fishy about
Talk
this.
about you bury the lead, and you, I mean, not living in Jersey anymore is big news, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, it's something different. We'll try
Something's
something new,
weird
drive out
here.
there.
Why are you moving to Colorado?
Because I want to. There's friends out there I'm gonna go live with. We're gonna have a good
You know what
time.
I say? I say you only live once. Good for you, pal.
Yeah,
Not
doing
surprised.
something different,
It's
Holden.
great out here. It's wonderful.
Maybe I'll meet you at a local dispensary.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. You know, I won't leave my house. What town? What's the name of the town? You got to let me know. Is it Cherry Creek?
Parker.
Oh, what do you live? Do you have a pickup truck?
No, I don't know.
That's where my girlfriend lives. It's a bunch of rednecks out there, but that's okay. You'll have a good time. You'll fit right in.
Okay, I guess so. Works for me.
I can't believe you're moving to Parker. Oh boy. Yes, you're right, Alex. If they're attractive with daddy issues, those are absolutely the women I target. And I recommend you do too, Mangone. They're the best way to go. Let's get back to the games here. And our next game is Houston-Cleveland. Why are we talking about this dog shit game? Because I think Cleveland's going to be an interesting team this week. We're not buying into what Houston did last week. They're a bunch of jabronis. There's not going to be OBJ again. But, Mangone, is this the week to go double running back with Cleveland? Chubb at 7.8 DK, Hunt 5.8 DK as they put up 60 points against the Texans defense.
Yeah, I mean, that Texans defense is bad, right? We can definitely target it. I'm not buying the 1-0 Texans. I don't think they're going to go 16-0. But yeah, the Browns are definitely going to steamroll them. They're going to put up points. I'd be betting on like Nick Chubb is a great play, right? They're likely to be leading most of the time. I don't really want to mess with these receivers too much. I do think Jarvis Landry has a safe floor, but if they do get up big and if he doesn't get a rushing touchdown or even, getting there on a catch, like that has some concerns, right? So I think you can get some exposure to this Cleveland run game. I don't want to go double barrel on Chubb and Hunt. I don't think you need to, but they have a massive total, right? 31. I wouldn't be shocked if both scored 2 touchdowns. Just don't think I need to go there because that would cap my ceiling a bit. I like Nick Chubb, though. Good option. It's just a matter of how do you feel about Nick Chubb versus some of these other running backs that are on this slate. And then if you expect the Texans to be losing a lot, right? Brandon Cooks, he's a clear alpha wide receiver 1 on that team. You can't ignore that. And Mark Ingram, I am not buying all the carries he got. They were leading. That's fine. I don't expect them to be leading. I'm not going to mess with that run game. So really, I'm only looking at a Nick Chubb and a Brandon Cooks, like a little skinny stack of that, and then kind of move on.
Right. So that's it. Just the running game. No wide receivers, no nothing else. So a bunch of garbage from the Houston side. Keg, we don't have to talk about this game if it's too shitty. Browns minus 12.5. Total here is 47.5. It opened at 30. It really hasn't moved that much, and I don't know why. I know 12.5 is a lot. I don't know why it's not more. I guess if the Texans lost week 1, it probably would have been 17 at this point. Any thoughts on this game here?
My initial thoughts are it's 2021, and we're clappers in 2021. So a round of applause for Tyrod Taylor. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that's been thrown in the lost and found bin like a book in like a 99-cent box more times than probably any other player in football. And does he ever complain? Not really all that much. God bless him. God bless him. He gets a nice, sexy win against the number one pick in the draft. I couldn't be happier for Tyrod Taylor. Now, did the Texans look awful? No, I guess not. The defense actually had a good performance, like top 8, I think, after week 1 in terms of analytics. And somehow a Deshaun Watson-less team finds a way to get it done, right? Now, the Browns, man, as far as the Browns are concerned, I think the debate's over. I think Baker Mayfield is a stud, an absolute stud. And he was throwing dimes all over the field for 3+ hours. He did everything that he could do to win that game. He played well enough to beat the Chiefs on Sunday. The issue was there's just no defense 49 out of 50 times that's going to stop this Kansas City Chiefs team and do enough to get them over the hump. It's just so hard to stop this team. So they put up 30 something and they end up doing the game. But all that said, I think I'm really excited. I think the sky's the limit for the Cleveland Browns. I really do. Especially, I can't judge the defense against the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to see how they look over the next 8 weeks. And if they look, way better against offenses that are not superhuman, I really do think that the sky's the limit for this team, because that offense is going to put up a sick amount of points on most weeks. That being said, it is so hard to give up 13 points in a football game in the NFL. Like, do I want to take the Houston Texans? No. But if you gave me a free bet and you asked me to bet the side, I would have to take the 13, the 12.5, 13, depending on where you shop. Oftentimes, the bets in the NFL that make you feel the most uncomfortable are the ones that you usually have your highest win rate in. And I think it's extremely uncomfortable to even take 12.5 with that kind of Texans team against the firepower of that Browns offense. But it's the NFL, and it's hard to cover 13 points. So I would lean taking the 12.5, 13. The total feels low here, and I'll tell you why. I think that the Browns can hang 35 in this game easily. If that's the case, you have to think they're getting over 47.5. Is that the total right now? 47.5?
Mm-hmm. It dropped from 49.
Yeah, I'm
looking it up too.
I don't understand. I think if the Houston Texans find a way to put up 14 to 17 on the board, I think this game probably goes over the number.
Trying to find it's got the team total for the Browns has to be 27 at least.
I would
right
higher than that. Let
me see here.
30.5. Yeah. 30.5. I think they're good for 31.
All right. I just got a text from somebody that works with us. He says, "Don't do that bet. Don't take the Texans. You weren't going to anyways."
No, no. I said if you gave me a free bet,
I
take a side. Yeah.
It could be a letdown for the Browns, or is that just a lazy narrative? I mean, they did just play the freaking Chiefs, go for 2 on the first drive, and then lose the game in horrible fashion. I mean, then you come home, but it's their home debut. So, all right, enough on this game. I'm done with it. I'm getting texts from Simon about he wants me to go to Walmart for him. I'm getting texts from other guys we work with. It's a wild show today, Mango, and I think it's the mojo of your hair. That is what is happening with this show. Hit the like button. Okay, let's do it. Let's does Mangone have school pictures after the show?
that was a good comment.
That's a great one, Zwickler. I'm a big fan of that. I obviously found that funnier than everybody else. Oh, K Falik, you're not coming on because of the Jewish holiday. I'm sorry, I forgot all about that. I'm sorry, K Falik. What am I going to do? I wanted to give you an invite to the show. Mango, what do you want to talk some baseball today on the Up to Lock show? What are you doing?
Yeah, I probably not the best day holder when I'm leaving, so I'm saying goodbye to some people.
So hold on. Are you driving down to the knee houses and then coming to Colorado?
Yeah, I'm stopping. I think I'm stopping at AP's too to play some golf as well, So making a little trip out of it. I'm playing golf with Uncle T, Rubio, and Big T on Friday, so that'll be a fun time.
Here's the deal. You're going to be 15 minutes from me. We're getting a pedicure. You're going to come to my area.
Close? That's closer than I wanted,
Well, I don't but you're on the other side of the highway. You'll be slumming it.
Oh, that's good.
So that's fine. Obviously, you're not making enough in this business to live in the nice area, but you're coming over. We're getting pedicures, okay?
Yeah, again, I know nothing about the place I'm really going to.
Okay,
so.
yeah, it's a bunch of rednecks.
I'll do a pedicure, Holden. It's been a while.
Let's do it.
Will we see any of your ladies? Like, will I walk by? Will there be like a lady getting a pedicure there that like you've hooked up with? Will I experience that?
I have not hooked up with a pedicure lady. I have not hooked up with her. Tell Mangone to get a new haircut as well. Okay.
A new haircut?
Who do you think that was from?
It wasn't from Joey Work. Not spread. Someone we work with? Is it a Run Pure guy or a Run Pure Bets guy?
A pure guy.
I'm thinking it's DC wouldn't be texting you though. There's no way.
DC doesn't watch this show.
Stevie Boyan, maybe? Stevie Boyan?
JSU.
Oh, JSU. Okay.
Wow, he came right after you with that. Keg, why don't you show everybody your haircut? How much do you pay, buddy?
I'm good.
Yeah, I know you are. You showed me your hair once. It was definitely an experience. I'm going to start with you on the San Francisco Philly game, though. Boy, Jalen Hurts looked friggin' good last week, okay? So that was nice to see. I think the Sirianni system is just perfect for him. Threw it 35 times, completed 27 of them, 264, 62 on the ground, and he didn't turn the ball over. Okay, now the defense for the Eagles, I can't take it seriously. They played the Falcons. I know the Falcons have some weapons over there, but they're a mess. They're a complete mess. I do want to let you know George Kittle against the Eagles, 15 of 15, 183 yards and a touchdown. And then last week, Trey Lance became the first quarterback through a TD pass on his first career pass attempt since Tim Tebow, who probably lived in Parker. Week 10, 2010, it happened. Kegger, San Francisco, Philadelphia. Maybe this Philly team is not as washed as I thought they were. I really was impressed, but now they're taking on a different caliber. -3.5 for the Niners on the road. The total has gone from 45.5 to 50. Holy shamoly, Kegger. Can't do anything. Can we go under on that total?
No. The Eagles look good, right? We grabbed a couple live winners on the show in that game. But how do you rate that performance with how bad that the Atlanta Falcons look? They looked absolutely dreadful. How much of that were the Eagles looking good, and how much of that were the Falcons looking like complete horse manure? So I think it was probably more the Falcons being god awful than the Eagles looking that good. But nonetheless, like you said, Hurts did look solid. The offense didn't turn the ball over, which is a win. 450 yards of offense thereabouts, solid. But they were undisciplined though, for sure. I mean, and that's going to get them in trouble in the weeks ahead when they're playing better competition like this week coming up. You can't have 15 penalties in a game and expect to be good teams. And that's going to get tested on Sunday. Now, with all that said, they were one of the few teams last week that played a complete game. Is it only 1 week? Yes. But they were in the top 9 in both offense and defense after a week. It's only 1 week, but you can only judge them on the week that they played. So, the 49ers, man, offense looked better than I thought. Defense looked way worse than I thought. And it all comes out in the wash. I don't know how to rate this 49ers team yet. I mean, it's a bad look to let Jared Goff hang 35 on you almost. I'll tell you that. That's not great. I'm tempted to take the 3.5 with the Eagles, but I just can't trust what I saw yet. I have to see them look like that against a team that's better than the Atlanta Falcons, because the Atlanta Falcons sucked. They sucked all last year. We weren't high on them going into the year. While I do think that the Eagles look good and I'm tempted to take the 3.5, it's a pass for me, because I want to see them play that type of game against a better caliber of opponent. I think we will have a much better indication on where this Eagles team is after Sunday. And the total, yeah, you missed it. I mean, going over 44 was probably the move. At 50 now, do I want a piece of the under? Not really, no. Total's a pass for me. So this game's a pass.
Mangone, any Eli Mitchell? Do we even want to mess with that backfield? Do we want to mess with Miles Sanders? Because this is just a different caliber of defense they're facing this week. Miles Sanders, I can't imagine is going to have half the game he had last week. And even though it's a different defense, man, Jalen Hurts seems like he's a weekly starter here. He's 6'5" on DraftKings. Are you kidding me? 7-8 on FanDuel. Like, got to give Jalen Hurts a look every single week.
Yeah, one reason you have to give Jalen Hurts a look every week is because of the rushing upside he can have, right? Not even the upside, the floor that comes with the rushing that he can have. Of course, last week that was big. The The other thing you just mentioned, you talk about the Niners and the run game. I don't want to mess with that because I think on DraftKings specifically, PPR is a big deal. And those aren't guys that are typically going to be fed all those catches. And on top of that, the Eagles are a bit of like a run or a pass funnel where the run game is pretty good. Of course, things might change, right? Every year, teams are different than we expect, but I expect the Niners to maybe pass a little bit more on this Eagles team and passing through like a George Kittle and some shorter yardage plays. So I think Kittle is a really strong option. I do think Deebo Samuel, it's clear that he is like the alpha in this offense. You can even see them mix him in on some gadget plays too a ton. So I like Deebo. I like Kittle the most. And then on the Eagles side, I'm not looking to load up on too many guys. Like I saw kind of a report going into Sunday that Kenneth Gainwell is going to be more involved in the pass game. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Let's watch and see. And he was a little bit more involved than I realized. So I think just playing Jalen Hurts and really not looking at too many run backs is the way to go with this team right now. If you're going to play him, you kind of just play him naked and hope he just finds his way there, running the ball. And even if he gets there passing, hopefully it's just spread out enough where you don't have to load up on these guys. I just don't want to mess with too much from this game. It is a decent total. I think you just pick your spots. You don't just full on game stack it.
I want to mess with Kittle and maybe Deebo Samuel. Those and Hurts. I think those are the guys that I would be looking at in this game. So we'll turn the page on that. Let me give us your spiel real quick. If you want to join Run Pure Sports, RPS Heater 25% off your first payment. Uncle T told me that, so if it's wrong, it's his fault. Mr. Keg, if you're already a subscriber to the sports side, all you got to do is say, hey, get bets, GETBETS. You can add it for what? Free for now. And then if you just want to get the bets, how do they get the bets with a code? With a code, not a cold, a code.
If you just want to get the bet side, it's bets 25 off, and you'll get 25% off the first week or month, 60 a month, 15 a week. Can't beat it. Best business, best deal in the business.
Best deal. And listen, if you don't sign up, Travis is not going to be able to afford this haircut again. And I must say, I got a nice stylist for you. It's going to be great. I know you got a friend here, man, going, I'm going to take care of you. You'll have women. You won't have to pay for them. Trust me, everything will be fine. Haircuts, pedicures, anything you need, man, going, I'm here as long as you come to me. Okay.
All right, Holden. Well, I definitely do need a new haircut person. I know
you do.
I've been going to the same person since I was 18, 17. Yeah, so that's a bit of a concern. Same place. And now I got to switch it up, Holden. That's a little bit worrisome.
Okay. You're going to be fine. I'm going to take care of you, man, going, I will be your shaman or your shaman or whatever it is. Plus the girl I'm kind of seeing right now as a sister, and she's really good looking. She probably wouldn't be into you though. So let's
again, do we want to stumble upon any ladies that Holden has been with?
Why not? I'm clean. You guys always make fun of me. I mean, I've somehow avoided the plague. I don't know how I've done it. I'm going to be personally honest with you, but that's just where we are. Tennessee, Seattle. Oh boy. Is Russell Wilson going bananas this week, Kegger? Tennessee at Seattle. This thing opened at 3.5. Now it's -4.5 or -5. I'm seeing 5.5 at Bet Rivers. 54.5 is the total. You can find 53 too. You can find 53, 54, 54.5. But Russell Wilson back to his extraordinarily efficient self. They ran the ball well. They got pressure on Wentz. I thought the defense was pretty good. I think the question I need to start with then is, what did you think of the Titans week 1? And are they more that team or the team they were last year?
I think the Titans had one of the 2 worst offensive performances last weekend. And, it does go to what Mangone said. It goes to show that when you lose some guys and you think that you could just plug the hole and put a guy in there, next man up, it doesn't always work out immediately. And that definitely was the case for the Titans last week. It's been a while since that offense looked that bad. And I mean, even Derrick Henry, 3.3 yards carry that's just not what he does normally. Now, the question for me is, did this offense look that bad, or is that newly revamped Cardinals defense looking like that good? I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. And, on the other side of the ball, the Titans defense was abysmal. Arizona had their way with them and did absolutely anything that they wanted to do in week 1. Now, Seattle, you said Russ was, back to being efficient. Yeah, 18 for 23, 4 touchdowns. That's classic Russ for sure. But long story short, I think this line's an overreaction, man. I think 5.5 is a little week 1 overreaction. I think that if you were telling me, well, who do you like here? Give me the +5, I think, with Tennessee.
Okay.
I think that's where I would go.
Mangone, we got to talk about a couple guys from this game because I wonder what your take is. We've probably been talking about this for 3 years. Lockett versus Metcalf. So Lockett goes bananas. Then the Colts decide, to bring guys up or actually bring guys back. And then he hits Metcalf underneath. So which wide receiver do we want? Or if you're playing Russell Wilson, do you just throw them both in there and hope they both go nuts?
Yeah, so if you play both, I wonder, do you play Derrick Henry ran back? Do they try and just get back to their roots and pound the rock a little bit more? I don't know. It's tough. I just don't love – it's a 54.5 total or 53.5 total. It is a good one, right? And I don't want to ignore the Lockett Metcalf thing. It feels like such a good slate where I just might go to other spots, but you definitely can't ignore it. In cash games, I kind of lean maybe going to the Cowboys receivers over the Seattle ones. At least that's where I'm currently at. But it is the Titans, right? The Titans are terrible. So I just have so many flashbacks of getting this wrong last year that I don't want to do it again. But it's definitely tough. It's one of those things. Big T brought up the point on the show last week. He thinks he's just going to pick one and roll with it. That way he never has to pick wrong. And some of the weeks he's right. Some of the weeks he's wrong. I think that's not a terrible way to go about it. If you force me to pick, I might go with Metcalf as my choice just because I think he's absolutely incredible, right? And as the season goes on, Lockett is a guy that just kind of gets more banged up and gets hurt. So, and DK Metcalf just looks like an absolute freak. So I feel like I'll lean DK Metcalf most of the time. And he is cheaper. So that's kind of where I'm at right now on that. I don't see myself going to a Chris Carson. I know they have a bunch of running backs there. I don't need to play him. There's other running backs I'll be wanting to play on this slate. And then on the other side, don't sleep on A.J. Brown, right? A.J. Brown is a really talented receiver. I lean him over Julio Jones most weeks going forward. Now, the price does not say that because we got Julio at 6'3", A.J. Brown at 7'1", so it kind of depends on what's going on there. I will try my best, though, if I'm doing game stacks. I'll try my best to lean on going A.J. Brown over Julio for the most part, but that price is getting tastier and tastier as the weeks go on.
All right, guys. I think that's it, right? Anything else from this game? You want to go, if you wanted to go Carson, Henry just continues his first half of the season slump, I guess what it is. It has to be a little colder for him to have a good game.
I think that if you think that this Titans offense struggles again, you have to go under 54 here, right? That's a high total.
I would think so, unless you look at the Titans team total, right? Would you rather just hammer the team total?
I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I think that they're going to struggle. I think that probably taking the 5.5 is an overreaction. I think you got to take the 5.5. But for people that are hell bent on the Titans aren't going to be nowhere as good as they were last year. If that's what you believe, then there's no way they're hitting 54 this week. Then you should be on the under.
All right, guys, hit the like button. One more time, hit the like button, subscribe, that little button right below it, and RPS Heater 25% off your first payment. Listen to the Old Guys podcast, The Wishbone. It's right here on YouTube, or you can find it on your favorite podcast provider. I can't believe that Mangone's coming out here. Is your friend a boy or a girl? Adult? Who's your friend?
But just a bunch of guys, man.
Just a bunch of dudes. So excited!
I'm not coming out there for a girl, man. Who comes? We hang with the boys, right, Keg? You do things.
That's a horrible move.
Imagine going cross country for a girl.
Yeah, listen, the girl adapts, right? You make sure if you set up shop right, as Big T says, you take your computer, you put it up, and you put your DFS lineups out. You don't adjust for the girl adjusts for you.
Would you fly 2,500 miles to have sex with a porn star?
No.
See, that's where we're just different. We're just completely different people.
Are you telling us that you're doing something this weekend?
Not this weekend. No, no. And that'd be a weekday trip because I'm only free Tuesday nights. Monday. it's great for the dating life. All right, guys, we're out of here. Don't forget, hang out with us. It's terrific. We're looking forward to hanging out all year long on this show. Okay. Old Guys Podcast. Tonight I tape with Title and Rubio on the Young Guys Podcast, NFL Spread Pod. This show is called Picking Winners because we picked winners and one show bet. Any other bets we want to put on here, Mangone? All we got is the Chargers minus 3.5.
Well, we had the Rams, right? The Rams one was the
What do you guys like tomorrow? Anything for Thursday Night Football? I lean Giants.
I lean the Giants. So, I don't trust. I mean, I don't like Heineke, but I don't trust that Giants team.
I don't like Heineke, and I really don't like Danny Dimes either. But I'll probably lean the Giants.
I think that defense and Gibson get the job done. I think you see the Redskins have a better game plan. Heineke's not just thrown in there. He gets at least a couple days.
I hope you're right, bro, because before when they had Fitz, I took him plus 280 to win the NFC East. So.
Yeah, I think Gibson has a pretty good day. I wouldn't be shocked if he scores a touchdown, but I'll go with my best bet. I'll always give a best bet. We'll go with the Eckler to score a touchdown this week. I don't know what the line is. Hopefully it's not something stupid. Like I'm not trying to give it a minus 200. I don't think it'll be that high, but I'll put stuff up on the sheet though. Don't you worry. I'll be having some bets and it'll be a good time. Get on over to Run Pure Sports, Run Pure Bets. And Holden, we haven't done it yet. We talked about the likes, but let's do it for JJ. Give us 2 thumbs up on the video for us.
All I see is 4 knuckles, but if you want to hit a thumbs up, that'd be great too. My play, I guess, was the Chargers minus 3. Keg's play, or the show play, Rams minus 3.5, and then be on the lookout for an Eckler touchdown prop because Mangone's on that too. Now it's time for you to get us out of here. Simon, get us out of here, dude.